Yes, good morning children. Now today we are just going to have the lecture number 2 on the electric field. First we are just going to discuss the electric lines of force. An electric lines of force is the imaginary path along which a unit positive charge would move if it is free to do so. Suppose this is the plus q1 and minus q2 and we are just dropping plus q0 here, unit positive test charge. So it is having the repulsion force from this side and attraction force from minus q2, and it will follow certain path from q1 to q2. This imaginary path is known as the electric lines of force. Now if the strength of the electric field at any point is measured as the number of the lines of force crossing a unit area held normal to the lines of force at that point. Here the electric field strength, that means the magnitude of the electric field, just to understand, if we take the unit area means 1 meter square area which is held perpendicular or held normal to the lines of force, then we have to see that how many electric lines of forces they are passing through that unit area. So this will provide us the strength of the electric field. This is the quantitative idea of the electric field. Before that also we have found out the formula E is equal to F upon Q0. Now the second topic which we are just going to discuss here children, that is the properties of the electric lines of force. And these are very important properties of the electric lines of force. These lines are starting from the positive charge and they terminate at the negative charge. Secondly, the lines of force do not pass through a conductor. It indicates that the electric field inside a conductor is always zero. So this is also a very important property. Now the third property is the lines of force, they never intersect each other. If they intersect each other, then at the point of intersection we can draw the two tangents at that point, and two tangents drawn means at that point, at one point, the electric field is having the two directions, which is not possible. That is why the two electric lines of force, they never intersect each other. If you see this, suppose they are intersecting at the point A, then at the point A we can draw this tangent which is showing at this particular point A, it is showing the E direction, and if we draw the tangent at this curve, it is showing the E dash. Then at the one point we must not have the two directions of the electric field. It is not possible. Children, try to understand. If I say I am just moving towards the left also and at the same time I am just moving the right also, is it correct? I don't think it is possible. So in the same way we are able just to get the two directions of the electric field at a one point, which is not possible, and that is why the electric lines of force, they do not intersect each other. Now the fourth point is also very important. These are the electric lines of force, and if it, at any point, if we draw the tangent at this point, it will give the direction of the electric field. Now the fifth property is the reason where lines of forces are closer to each other, we can say that the electric field is very strong, and the space or the region where the lines of force are farther apart, the field is very weak. यानी कि जहाँ पे लाइन्स ऑफ फोर्सेस जो हैं वो बहुत पास होंगे, बहुत घने होंगे, डेंस होंगे, वहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड की स्ट्रेंथ ज़्यादा होगी, और जहाँ पे दूर होंगे इलेक्ट्रिक लाइन्स ऑफ फोर्स, वहाँ पर इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड बहुत ही वीक होगी. नाउ कम टू द सिक्स्थ प्रॉपर्टी, दैट इज द लाइन्स ऑफ फोर्स contract longitudinally, that is the lengthwise, and this property explains, that is the attraction between the two unlike charges. This property explains that the positive and negative, they are attracting to each other. The lines of force exert a lateral pressure on each other, and this property explains the repulsion between the two like charges. We all know, nothing new in it. If the positive charges are there, there is always a repulsion force, and if the unlike charges are there, that is the positive and negative, then we are always having the attraction force. Now let us see, children, the representations of the electric lines of force in the different cases. First case is that in the case of the isolated point charge. Isolated point charge means only the positive charge or only the negative charge. So it is the positive charge. So this way we can understand that if the positive charge is there, then this positive charge is searching its negative in every direction. That is why it is searching its negative at every direction. So it is spherically symmetric and outwards towards the point charge. From the positive charge, the lines of force originate, we can say, while in the case of the negative charge, the lines of force terminate at it. The journey ends when this positive charge searches its negative, the second pole. So this way we can understand that here it is the spherically symmetric and the electric lines of forces are outwards, and in the case of the negative charge it is also having the spherical symmetry and the electric lines of force, they are towards the negative charge. Now second, in case of a system of two charges, if we are having the positive and negative charges, then they start from the positive charge and trying to reach to the negative. So this is following certain path, and this path is known as the electric lines of force. So if this way, so this type of structure is being formed when the system of two charges we are taking, that is the positive and negative. So this is the structure which is a structure of the electric lines of force in the case of system of two charges, one is positive and another one is negative. If we take the two positive charges, these positive charges, the electric lines of force emanate from here, and this is also the positive charge. So positive, these electric lines of forces, they are emanating from this side also, and they are searching its negative somewhere. This is also searching its negative somewhere. So ultimately we will find that the pattern of the electric field in the case of the two positive charges, it is like this. So we are seeing only the pattern, which type of pattern is being obtained. I have given you the two examples. One is positive and negative. This type of the structure is there, and when we are taking the like charges, positive, then this type of structure or electric lines of force pattern is like this. These lines represent the electric field due to a point charge or system of point charges, and these lines of force are imaginary. Very important point, children. This is the lines of force, they are imaginary. We are saying is, but the electric field they represent, that is the real one. Now the fourth point is, children, it is about the electric dipole, which is very simple. It is a system of the two equal and opposite charges which are separated at a very short distance. If you see the old antenna, we are having the middle one is the positive and negative. Then that antenna is acting as a dipole, and it is having the property just to attain or the grasp the electromagnetic waves. Now here one physical quantity is again attached to this electric dipole, that is known as the electric dipole moment, moment. It is denoted by P, and P is the product of one charge and the distance between these two charges. One is minus Q and another one is the plus Q. this 2L is the distance. 2 should not be multiplied in anywhere in any numerical, because we are considering this 2L distance, because in the case of the dipole all the distances we are measuring from the middle. So mathematically it will be easier for us when we are squaring it, we are having the cube of it, so then unnecessary and the terms will not be available. Now here it is the, remember it again, I am repeating that it is the distance between the minus q and plus q. This distance we have taken the 2L. Why we have taken the 2L? We can take the L also, no problem. If you are taking L, then it will be L by 2, and this is also L by 2. If you want to square, then L square by 4. If you want to have the cube, L cube by 8. So unnecessary these 4 and 8 in the denominator it is coming. That is why we has assumed that the distance between the minus q and plus q, it is 2L. So if you are measuring it from O, this will become L and this will also become L. If you are squaring, we will get only L square. If you have the cube, then only we will get the L cube, and no mathematical complication will be there. So that is why we are taking this distance as a 2L everywhere in the case of the electric dipole. So what is the electric dipole? This AB system is the electric dipole, and in which the two equal and opposite charges are placed at a very short distance, and electric dipole moment is the product of either of the one charge into the distance between them, that is the 2L. The SI unit of the electric dipole moment, it is quite easy for you just to write down the coulomb, and this is the length, so it is meter. So the SI unit of the electric dipole moment is coulomb into meter. Sometimes one question is asked in your examination that what do you mean by the ideal dipole? The ideal dipole is that in which these charges are having a very larger magnitude and they are kept at a very small distance, or we can say at a negligible distance. So this is all for the electric dipole. Now we are just going to find out that the electric field on axial line of an electric dipole. That means that one dipole is there, and on the axial line means if you just on the axis increase this line, this is the axis of the dipole, and at this axis we are having the point P, and at the point P we want to find out the value of the electric field due to the presence of this dipole. So at the point P, if we put the test charge Q0 for the testing, always for knowing the direction, always put the plus Q0 charge, which is known as the unit positive test charge. So if plus Q0 charge is there, if because of this minus Q, this plus Q charge is attracted towards this direction, so the direction of E1 will be in this direction. Now if we just take the plus Q charge, plus Q and plus Q0, they are having the repulsion force, so E2 will be in this direction. That means at the point P, due to the minus Q, the E1 is in this direction, and the E2 due to the plus Q, it is in this direction. That means both are in the opposite direction. Suppose from the midpoint of the dipole, this P point is at the distance R. Now we can find out the value of the E1 and E2 very easily, and then we can apply the vector algebra. E is equal to vector E is equal to net electric field is equal to vector E1 minus vector E2. Because of the fact that E2 will be greater than E1. E2 is always greater than E1. Why? Just see here. E1 is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0. This is Q. Here we are not considering this sign minus and negative. It is only telling the nature of the electric field. So minus Q, it is also Q, and the distance is up to here it is R, and this is L. So R plus L whole square. This is the equation number 1. Then if we want to find out the value of the E2, E2 is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught that is this is the Q, and this distance between them is R minus L. So R minus L whole square. Why square is there? Because we know that the formula for the electric field in the previous lectures we have understood that E is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q upon R square. Here at the place of the R it is R plus L, and then for the second case it is R minus L. Now E2 is greater than E1. I think it is very clear to the class 12th students. Here the denominator is less, so the value of the E2 will be greater, and here the denominator is more, so the value of E1 is less. So nothing to explain in it. I think it is very much understood for the class 12th students. E2 is greater than E1. So we can write down the net electric field according to the vector algebra. Vector E is equal to vector E2 minus vector E1. Now if we substitute these two values, we will find that the Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught is the constant, is the common, and we are taking it as a common outside the bracket. Inside the bracket what we are getting, that is the 1 upon E2 is R minus L whole square minus 1 upon R plus L whole square. Take the LCM of it, we can get the R square minus L square to the power whole square. If you just divide it, you will get this term, it is the R plus L whole square, minus if you divide it from this, you will get the this term, this is the R minus L whole square. If you just open it with the help of the A plus B whole square and A minus B whole square, I think this step is very clear. Nothing to explain it in it. I am just repeating it. R square plus L square plus 2RL, and here it is the negative sign, and this will become R square plus L square minus 2RL, because the minus is here, so we have to change all the signs. Minus R square minus L square, and this will become plus 2RL. R square, L square, minus R square, minus L square, they will be cancelled out. Only we will get the 4RL, and this 4RL can be written like this also. Along with the Q, we are taking the 2L, and this 2R will be separated. Again, if you multiply, it is again 4RL. So nothing change according to the mathematics here. For our derivation of the formula in the physics, we have just taken the 2L here, and 2R is being separated here. So Q into 2L, why we have taken it separate? Because we know that this is the dipole moment, electric dipole moment. Just now we have read that P is equal to Q into 2L. In the place of the Q into 2L, we can write the P and 2R is as it is, 4 pi epsilon naught, and R square minus L square to the power whole square. So this is the electric field on the axial line due to the presence of the dipole. If this is a special case, if this distance R is very greater than this L, the distance of the dipole, if R is very greater than L, then we can neglect this L square, and when we are neglecting this L square is vanished, and R square to the power square, that is R to the power 4, and this is R, and one R will be cancelled out, and we will get the R cube. So the formula is E is equal to 1. If R is greater, very greater than L, then L square can be neglected, and we will get the E is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into 2P upon R cube. Now today's last topic is, it is the sixth topic we can say, that it is the electric dipole in uniform electric field. Firstly, we have to understand that what is the meaning of the uniform electric field. Uniform electric field means कि each and every point the value of the strength of the electric field remains the same, and on the copy on the blackboard its representation is by the parallel lines which are equidistant, जो एक दूसरे से equal distance पे हों, and unidirectional. That means the three properties should be there, that the lines must be parallel to each other, they must be equidistant, and they are unidirectional. So uniform electric field will be represented by these lines. Now if the dipole AB is placed in this uniform electric field, we know that due to this electric field, the minus q charge is also experiencing some force, that is the minus QE, and plus q, it is also experiencing certain force, but in the opposite direction, that is the plus QE. These plus QE force and minus QE force, they will form the torque, and they are, when the torque is being formed, the torque is having the tendency to rotate this dipole in the direction of electric field. So यही काम ये करेगा कि जो ये टॉर्क इस पे बनेगा, ये टॉर्क क्या करेगा, इस डायपोल को इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड की डायरेक्शन में लाने का प्रयत्न करेगा. नाउ वी ऑल नो दैट द टॉर्क इज इक्वल टू द फोर्स क्रॉस r, where r is the perpendicular distance. Here the perpendicular distance is the BC. Now the value of the F is Q into E, and the R is equal to, for finding out the R, which is, we are saying that BC is the perpendicular distance. So if we apply the simple trigonometry, that is the sin theta is equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse, so BC upon AB, so BC is as it is, and 2L is the length of the dipole. So BC upon 2L, so BC is equal to 2L sin theta, and this is equivalent to the perpendicular distance R. In place of the perpendicular distance, we are writing that 2L sin theta and Q into 2L into E sin theta, or torque is equal to PE sin theta, because Q into 2L is again the electric dipole moment, and because it is the sin theta, from the class 11th knowledge, according to the vector algebra, the torque is equal to P cross E, because the sin theta is involved, so it is the cross product of the two physical quantities, that is the P and E. P means electric dipole moment and E is the electric field, and torque is the equivalent to the force but in the rotational motion. Now one more question which is very very important, children, which is asked in your examination, that what will be the net force on the dipole if this dipole is placed in the uniform electric field. I must say that the net force is always zero. It is only the torque which is applicable here, and this torque is having the tendency to rotate the dipole in the direction of electric field. Now the question arises that now I think it is understood the force will be zero on the dipole, and what will be the torque maximum? Maximum torque is